Good morning, good afternoon, good evening. This is Osric Chau, and I'm hanging out with Galaxy on Comic-Con Radio.
We are superheroes, and Ryan, we need your help.
Sure, Dr. Palmer. Good one.
Ryan's one of the most intelligent humans on the planet.
And next you're gonna tell me I've been nominated for the Breakthrough Prize in Fundamental Physics?
I think more than anything, he's a family man. He's married, he has a child, and that is his life.
Ryan Choi, scientist, super brain, and ready to help save the universe.
How do you guys plan on doing that exactly?
I have some talks with Gail Simone, who created Ryan, and right away she's like, "You're Ryan." And it was one of those moments I'm like, oh, that's super cool. And oh, that's never gonna happen. So she put me in one of her comics, actually. And so when it was announced that I was playing Ryan, she flipped out. And it was just one of those moments oh my God, Gail, it happened. It was real nice.
Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening. This is Galaxy signing in for Comic-Con Radio. Comic-Con! Coverage of pop culture events from around the globe. Amazing interviews with celebrities. Daily recaps and reviews of popular television. Movie reviews. Everything Comic-Con and fandom from around the globe. Comic-Con Radio. Get ready to enter our universe. Let's go.
Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening. This is Galaxy for another amazing episode in our new year. This is the Roaring 20s, an amazing new decade with tons of new guests, amazing stars, and all the fun from Comic-Con Radio. Today we have a cool guest. He's going to be seen on the new Crisis on Earth episodes coming up, plus a whole bunch of other things. Today we have Osric Chau on Comic-Con Radio. Osric, what's up, brother?
Hey, man.
Hey. So, it's the new year. I call it the Roaring 20s. It's a new decade. All these cool things are happening. What does the 20s mean for you?
Oh, that's so weird when you call it the 20s. I hadn't even thought that we would start calling the years that. It makes me feel really old for the new millennials, the new century people.
For the people in the 90s, right? Coming in the next 70 years.
The 90s of the next century. I'm excited for every new year. There's always new things to do and go after. And, every year, ideally, I'm in a better place because of the hard work that I've done last year. And there's certainly a couple of projects that I've done that I'm looking for, that I'm anticipating coming up. So, yeah, I'm excited. I'm excited to get going.
Well, we're going to talk about those projects, hopefully, if you can release them. And I know a lot of things are top secret all the time, but if we can chat about certain things, that would be great. And especially on the Crisis. Now, there's, I think, 2 or 3 more episodes left. It's releasing January 14th, which is in a couple of days. And, we wanted to get you on the show so we could chat with you about this. So who are you on the Crisis and why are you there?
I play Ryan Choi, and Ryan Choi is currently the paragon of humanity. So there's 7 paragons in the world, or I guess in the universe, whose main purpose is to save the universe. And Ryan Choi is a big part of that. So I'm so excited to be a part of that, and even more excited to see it. I don't usually anticipate things that I'm in, but it's such a big event that it's really hard not to. I can't wait to see what they did with it.
Oh, absolutely. When fans saw you on the Crisis poster with Stephen Amell as Spectre, and they saw you on the Multiverse of Heroes, and they saw you in it, they're like, wow, he must be important. Something's going on.
My first episode released last year on Flash, and the last 2 episodes on Arrow and Legends of Tomorrow. I also take part.
Well, there you go. Now we know. I know you can't talk about the episode. We'll come back to that. I know it's a huge thing. Everybody's anticipating it. I know you can't give details. I won't squeeze you that much. But besides Crisis, we'll get back to that. Supernaturals, Dirk Gently's Detective Agency. These are some cool projects recently, or not recently. Supernatural's been around a long time, but the Supernaturals kind of define your career in the beginning?
I was part of it for like 6 years. So it was a huge chunk of my life, let alone career. So yeah, Supernatural definitely played a big part of my career. It was the project that kind of brought me back home. So I'm from Vancouver, Canada. I ended up moving to China for a little bit, then LA, and once Supernatural happened, I just started spending more and more time with my family at home. And so that's something I'll forever be grateful for. But it also brought me into the CW family. And all these shows that shoot in Vancouver on the CW, it's been kind of funny how it just kind of revolves back around. So I love Supernatural, the rest of the cast, the crew, the Supernatural family. Like, everyone has been so incredible, and I'm so very thankful to be part of that.
Well, you know what? CW is rocking in Vancouver. So were you born there or you just raised there?
Born and raised in Vancouver.
That's it. Look at that. Another Canadian rocking the world. You know, you Canadians, I'm going to tell you something. You guys are in like every freaking fandom series there is. We wouldn't have any fandom series without you guys. So I always say thank you. Thank you, Canada.
Yeah, we do pretty good for ourselves.
Yeah. Oh, hey, what do they call it? Hollywood North, right? As I always say.
Yeah.
Now, there's a movie that I really liked a lot that I saw you in years ago, and you did really well. And I know you had not a major role, but a great enough role, which was really fun. Really liked it. It was 2012. That was a really cool movie. How was working on that? Was it a major undertaking, or was it just something really simple?
I mean, I wish I could appreciate it at the time. I think that is the largest production to ever go to Vancouver. It was a $200 million movie, and I had a supporting role in it. It was my first major role on a studio film. It definitely kick-started my career, but I loved it. And I don't speak Tibetan, but I spoke Tibetan for it, apparently very terribly. I met some Tibetan monks after, and they told me they had a great laugh. So we did our best, but it wasn't good enough. But it was incredible, you know, to work on a $200 million movie. When I was so early in my career, I just didn't know. I thought every set just had those amenities and things, and sure enough, it never did. So it was one of those projects that I wish I could have taken the time to just soak it in a little bit more and just appreciate all these toys that we had. It was incredible. Yeah, it's not every day you get lobster for lunch.
Oh yeah, 200 million is a huge budget. You guys probably had amazing trailers and carts taking you everywhere, and you're like, okay, this is a star life. But you know what? It's kind of cool that you started with that, and it shows you like the opulence of what these big budget movies are, because 200 million is huge. There's not a lot of movies. That's in the top 3 or 5% of movie budgets ever, right?
Yeah.
So
at the time, that was the biggest. That was like before Marvel movies became like a normal thing. Another life.
Well, you're going to get back to that, man. You know, you have a great fan following, and there's going to be movies coming out like that. But besides that, you didn't want to be an actor growing up. You had this thing to be a stuntman. What's that all about?
I loved martial arts. I mean, I still do. It was an obsession, and I wanted to be the best, and I wanted to start a school, and you know, working in stunts was a great way to kind of supplement that kind of a lifestyle. And it just, you know, life takes you in crazy directions. And I ended up acting because there was this acting role that needed someone that could do their own stunts, that could kind of act, and I fit the bill. And my career just kind of went in that direction after that. So, I mean, acting was not my first passion, but it's something I learned to fall in love with, and I'm so grateful that I'm in it now. But doing action stuff is certainly something that holds a very dear place in my heart. And the fact that I get to play Ryan Choi in Crisis on Infinite Earths, and the potential that he becomes, you know, the new Adam, which might lead to some action scenes I'm hoping for.
Foreshadowing.
I mean, I don't know, but I would love that. So
we would love that
so if
too.
they go that way, I just hope that they know that I'm ready.
Well, I hope they're listening. Hey, if you're listening, he wants to make a show out of that, even if it's a 50-50 show, you could share him with someone else. Just
give me an action scene.
Hey, well, you know what? Stephen Amell is leaving, right? The Arrow's no more. It's 8 years of an amazing TV series that kind of started the Arrowverse, and that's going to be gone. So there's a lot of empty holes out there in people's hearts, and if we fill them with shows like this, and you never know what's going to be the next big thing. I hear so many things from the world out there that's going to be coming, so you never know, man. You never know.
It's true. I mean, they're planning some really big things. So yeah, if I fall into those plans in some way, shape, or form, I'll definitely make the most of that opportunity. So I'm excited regardless.
Well, Greg Berlanti, if you're listening, let's get this going. And you do your own stunts, right? So that's what you're saying. Like, you would do roles that you would do your own stunts. You want to do both if that's possible.
Well, you can only do so many of your own stunts just for liability issues. But the stunt performers, the stunt performers in Vancouver that do most of the CW shows, they're incredible. So to a certain degree, you kind of want to let them do their own thing because that's what they trained to do, and they're severely undercredited. But I think it's definitely helpful for actors to be able to know how to do the things, even if they don't do it. You can sell the moves. There's certain little pieces that you do end up doing, but you don't want to do everything. You just need to do the important parts that help tell the story. So we're all collaborators on storytelling, and you definitely need good stunt performers to do that. So I think having actors be well versed in it definitely helps, but you don't want them to do everything either.
Absolutely. No, I know what you're saying. Of course, not doing the crazy stunts. There's insurance reasons. There's issues. They wouldn't even allow you to do that. They don't want to hurt their main actor. You know what I'm saying? No, but what I'm saying is that you can sell that role. When someone's punching you or throwing you, you can actually make the move. So that's a cool thing. Maybe actors should do like a week of stunt school before they do some action movies and stuff like that. That's probably an idea to go after.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, the choreography and that stuff's so much fun. I mean, it really is like a dance. So I absolutely love doing that kind of a thing, especially like long fight sequences. You don't really get a chance to do those that much, but if you get a chance to do that, like, that's where I hopefully thrive. I love do that.
So you love that. When you were a kid growing up, was acting or Hollywood or any of these stuff in your mind? What did you want to be when you were a kid, and at what point did you say, okay, let me try this on-camera stuff, whatever role you want to take?
I was all over the place. The first thing I wanted to be was
You giggle because you're probably in your mind saying, okay, let me explain this.
It's like, they're just things that don't make sense. Like, first thing I wanted to be was Albert Einstein. Then I realized he was a person and someone was already him, Albert. And then I'm like, you know what? Okay, I'll be a rocket scientist. Like, I want to be a scientist. And then I wanted to be a professional wrestler. Then I'm like, oh, maybe I'm too small to be a professional wrestler, which I realized I'm not. Just needed to take a lot of steroids, but probably better I didn't go that way. Then I wanted to be a Power Ranger, which I almost became several times, but never worked out. It's fine. And then I wanted to be Prime Minister of Canada. And at some point, actor was never a thing. You didn't really see Asian American actors. So back then, I didn't even know to kind of dream that. But I just did not like going to school so much that acting and stunt work was kind of an exit clause for my parents. I'm like, look, I booked this thing, and it falls in the same time as my exam, so that doesn't make sense. I'm going to take a semester off school. So it became this excuse that I could have if I worked hard enough and I got a job. And so, sure enough, as the semesters went on, I would just work my butt off to not go to school. And at some point, I started working enough. I'm like, you know what? I'm just going to do this thing and not go to school, not finish. And that was kind of the impetus of it. I had motivation not to go to school. So I put my education somewhere else.
You put it towards this fine art that you're in right now. Now, is your family proud of you? Are they like, wow, that's good, you took that risk? Or are they still like, hey,
I think I think they're proud of me. It's hard to tell sometimes. They don't really talk about these things that much. But I'm going to assume that they are, and they still probably disagree with certain things in life. But, we have different values and we go for different things. And at the end of the day, as long as I can support myself, I think they're happy, even if they don't understand.
They're like, hey, support yourself, pay your own way, and we're okay with you. And one day we'll love you for being an actor. Or they still...
Probably.
Yeah, kind of. Okay.
I'm sure they wish that I was like pumping out grandkids for them, but I think they're gonna take what victories they can.
Hey, Osric, you have this face, man. Like when I see your face, you look like you're a friend to everyone. You're like that guy. I think that's why you fit so comfortably in projects, especially Crisis. It's a crazy world, and you just like threw yourself in, and like you fit perfect. So that's the look that I see. I don't know what the fans see. So I hope I'm okay with saying that.
I mean, that's totally fine. I'll let you know that in high school I was voted best undergrad role model. Not the coolest title, but it definitely probably carries over from that.
Now, I see an umbrella on your face in a lot of pictures. So the Umbrella Academy. Wow.
Oh, okay. So it's not the actual show.
Yes.
I
it's
don't
the parody, right?
Get you confused.
Yeah.
It's the parody done by the Hillywood Show, and they do such incredible work. I found out about them in 2014. And they're like, oh, we just do these little web videos. And I looked them up, and I was just blown away by the quality of their work. And I'd kind of been harping on them to do a supernatural parody ever since. And then they ended up doing 2 of those. So I'm very fortunate to be working with them and just to see how they do things. I have a lot of interest in doing my own productions as well. So I love being on independent sets and just seeing how the sisters' work have been awesome.
If Sean Kerrigan is listening, I had Sean Kerrigan on the show. He has his own production. They do parody videos and stuff like that. He's best friends with John Barenthal, and they do all these parody stuff. If he's listening, why don't you guys hook up, man, and do some crazy production stuff? Because he just created a production brand as well. I think it would work out because he loves parodies.
Ooh, that sounds fun.
Yeah,
Hell
so
yeah.
Sean, if you're listening, yeah. Yeah, Sean is cool. He was in the Ford versus the Ferrari, and
I want to see that so badly. I ended up traveling around, so I didn't get. I want to see them in theaters. That looks great. Sean, hit me up.
Yeah, it's a great movie. I think it's the biggest underestimated movie. But anyways, that's a whole other show. Ford versus Ferrari. But here's the thing. Why don't you get on the Umbrella Academy, man? I think you would do good. You would fit right in. Season 2 is going to be coming up, and or Sabrina. That's another show I think I see you in really well.
Oh, that'd be cool. I mean, if an opportunity comes up, I'll definitely make the most of it. That would be, it would be great. And Sabrina shoots in Vancouver as well. Honestly, any project that brings me back home, happy for it.
So, are you full time in Vancouver, or are you like sharing it with like the States?
I live in LA, but my whole family is in Vancouver, and I guess I'm at that age now where I appreciate the family time. I started recognizing my parents getting a little bit older, and any excuse that brings me back up there that allows me to spend some time with them, I appreciate it.
That's cool. So projects. I know you want to be around family. I know you love Vancouver, and I know you're at that age, and I understand you that you want to be around them. It's fun. You'll do your work, then come and do family time because you enjoy it. You're at that age where you could chat and this and that. But projects, what are some cool things outside of Crisis that you're working on? Because I see some things, but I want to ask you.
Well, so I started writing a script about my parents, actually. So last year was like the first moment where I recognized, like, oh man, they're getting older, and I kind of want to do something for them. I don't just want to like be away and completely focused on work without ever taking the time to appreciate them. And so last year I started writing the script about my parents, and how it's about a son who appreciates them. I'm super ambitious and career driven, so the only way that I could really like focus on them was to put them directly in my career path. And so I wrote this script about a son who learns how to appreciate his parents, and it's just about it's about this moment that I that I had. I left Vancouver last year feeling really sad about leaving my parents because I saw them getting older, and my mom texted me, and I got kind of annoyed at my mom for texting me. I'm like, Mom, why are you interrupting me trying to appreciate you? And the irony of that just kind of it made me laugh for one, and then it made me feel it made me feel really bad. And I just thought about that moment for a second, and I looked through my texts with my mom, and it's all these forwarded videos and text messages she gets from I don't know who else or what kind of websites. But I never respond to most of them, and I just had this thought that what if I'm the only person that my mom texts, and the only person that she texts is me, and I don't respond to her, and I just thoughts of her being super alone with my dad who doesn't talk that much. It just made me cry on the plane for hours, and I just wrote a script based off of that idea about a son who's been trying to get away from his parents for so long, and he thinks they're kind of stupid and they're making all these terrible decisions, and then one day he realizes that all of those decisions that they made were for him, and they didn't want him to know because they didn't want to get in the way of his life. So it's just a story about learning to appreciate your parents and all the sacrifices that they've made for you. And yeah, it's a story that I hope they can appreciate. At the very least, it's something I want to kind of show them as a thank you for everything.
That's cool that you can do something like that, and that's cool that you feel that way. And look at that heart, man. You got a heart, so don't ever think that. Look, you cried on an airplane going home. Who can say they've done that because they felt something? And it's a big deal, and I hope your parents hear this and know it. I don't think you'll express yourself to them, so I hope they hear this in some way or the other of actually seeing how you feel and care. I hope that it becomes what do you want to make a movie out of it or a TV show? What is the goal?
Yeah, I'm gonna make a movie out of it. So this is going to be the first thing that I end up directing, very likely.
Nice. And you're going to have family. Are you going to have any of your real relatives in it or no?
Yeah, my aunt is apparently she had dreams of being an actor at one point, and she kind of pushed them aside. So I think I'm going to do my best to put her in it.
Look at that. You already got people for free. So
I didn't know that.
Helps you with the budget, Budgeting is good. But that's good. That's a great thing. That's a great thing you're doing. And I know it's going to work out. These days, what I've noticed is everyone loves superheroes. Yes, everyone loves horror and alien stuff and paranormal things, but they also love actual reality in families, the love of a child for the parents for kids, this and that, because there's a lot of things missing, and people just like you, they're busy, they're running around. So sometimes they need to see stuff like this that feeds them what they need, and it'll get popular. There's a show called Rami. They just won a Golden Globe Award. It shows about the life of this kid and the day-to-day things that they're going through, and it works. And who would ever thought he would win such a cool award? But, they did over all these other things, so you never know where your movie's going to go.
Very, very true.
That's my 2 bits today about that. But here's the thing. I wanted to talk to you about Supernaturals for a second because I know you were there 6 years, which is a big chunk. That's a little bit less than half the life of Supernaturals. And that's a child being born, becoming a first grader. So you were actually in it that long. And I know what Supernaturals means for you and how it started things and it brought you to Vancouver. But Supernaturals, what was the most amazing moments? What was your most favorite times? And who was the coolest people that you worked with there?
Oh, man, Supernatural. I mean, it was probably the moment I graduated from kindergarten on that show, the 5-year mark. Supernatural was cool all the way through. I think having most of the same crew on it for so long was something that I never had before, and I love that. It didn't matter how long it's been since I've been back, to see familiar faces. It really felt like a second home by the end of it. And so I just really appreciate the crew on Supernatural, especially the ones that have stayed on since the beginning. I cannot imagine being on a show for that long. So the fact that so many people have is just mind-boggling. But the most memorable has to be my first episode. There's so much happening at that time. I got to work with Ben Edlund. He was directing his second episode, and I was the new kid. He definitely seemed like the new kid at the time because it was so new for him to direct as well. So I definitely bonded over him, and I'm a huge fan of his work, The Tick, and everything. So I was geeking out there. Jared. I was still trying to figure out which one was Jared, which one was Jensen. But Jared, at the time, he was just about to be a father. So my first day on set, actually, it was the only day or episode on Supernatural I got to do any stunts. We had that wire gag where I get hoisted up into the air when I got struck by lightning, and then the running around where I'm running from Sam. And so Jared's chasing me. So anytime I get to do anything physical, I love it. So I got to do that, and by the last shot of the day, Jared gets a call that Jen's in labor, and the next time I see him, he becomes a father. So there's so much happening that first day that I don't really think you can beat that.
That first day was crazy. It was just a wow for you.
So overwhelming. There's just so much happening, and of course, you're hopping into this set where everyone's best friends for a decade. It's definitely something to watch on.
Did they welcome you pretty well? Did you feel comfortable? Did you feel welcome?
Most of them did, and then everyone else eventually did. And then they're like, yeah, everyone dies so fast. We try not to get too attached. But it sounds like you're gonna be sticking around a little bit.
Everybody's been through that show, so they thought you were gonna be as well. Now 6 seasons later, right?
Yeah, pretty much.
Well, hey, you showed them. You showed them, Osric. And, you're like, I ain't leaving. I ain't going to be one of those guys that does one show and has to wait 3 seasons to come back as a new character. The shtick with Supernaturals, right? That thing where they rotate everyone. Well, here's the thing. Supernaturals is cool, but I really want to talk about Crisis a lot more. But before I talk about Crisis, Osric, do you have any paranormal stories? Do you believe in ghosts? Has anything weird or crazy ever happened that you're like, OMG?
No, but I want to. I want things to happen. I have a friend who says that their house is haunted, so I'm going to try to spend as much time there as I can. I want to experience, unequivocally, yeah, this is haunted kind of a thing. I want to. I love horror movies. I want to be scared. I want to experience something that I can't explain. So I would love that, but it hasn't happened where, without a shadow of a doubt, I'm like, okay, yeah, I have no clue. So I'm waiting for that. Take me to a haunted place.
That's it. You're like, I want to see something crazy. Well, being like that is cool because you're still keeping your mind open and, it's a crazy world out there. So besides that, no paranormal stuff. And I'm not going to talk about alien stuff because you're not in any kind of show like that or mermaids or any of that stuff. Crisis. We're going to talk about superheroes. The Atom. You're the new Atom.
Yep.
You're saving the universe. You're a savior of the multiverse, and you're going to bring it back or not. We don't know yet, so we can't talk about that. But what is the most exciting thing that happened to you when you were there? Not spoiling the show, I get it. Were you kind of geeking out when you met some of the characters? Were you into this TV series beforehand? Did you ever watch it? Are you a fan of it?
I got to say, there's definitely a couple of days on set where it just felt like I was at Comic-Con. Because there were so many people in costumes walking around. I'm like, man, these cosplays are great. They're such high quality cosplays, and everyone has a handler, and you have all these people running around trying to fix all these things. Wow, and they're doing photo shoots. I guess we're doing photo shoots and a video shoot, and we're all role playing, and the whole idea of Comic-Con just crashed into my brain. I'm like, wow, this is just next level Comic-Con. And, we have all these the crew, we're all geeking out. Everyone's geeking out. Even, the actors in their costumes are geeking out. It's wow, I can't believe, this is a thing. It really felt like a momentous occasion. And so I think all of us, were just, in awe of the spectacle that was happening and just the scale of which they were doing it. It was overwhelming, but it also happened so fast. when I did the audition, I think it was a Wednesday. I went to Australia the next day. By the time I landed, I heard I was shortlisted. After the weekend, I got the job, and I had to fly back to Vancouver for tomorrow. And so, like, within a week, I was back in Vancouver, literally around the world. And I went into the beard fitting, and then within a month, that was it. Like, it happened so fast that I wish time could have slowed down a little bit, but it just, everything happened so fast. We all knew it was something insane, and sure enough, like, we were just hoping they were going to be able to pull it off because it was so ambitious. And there's so many times we're like, is this going to work out? We don't know. And then sure enough, they would figure out a way.
That must have been really exciting, and seeing everyone, it probably pumps you up. But do you get into a certain mindset? Are you different from the normal you when you're acting?
I can probably spoil this. So I'm the paragon of humanity. I don't have a costume yet. I represent humans, uncostumed humans. So I wear like pretty stylish, everyday, regular people clothes. Feeling pretty good about that. But I don't know. There's certainly something about like standing in a room full of superheroes that kind of gives you, I don't know, this kind of confidence. So that was pretty dang cool. You're in a scene and literally everyone else has their own show, like that kind of thing. It's like, well, this is such a weird thing. Like everyone here, it's nice company to have. So I think the importance of that kind of soaked into my brain, and I appreciate that.
So sure. Everyone has their own show that was around you. You're like, okay, that's Batwoman, that's Supergirl, that's Arrow, the Flash, so-and-so.
Yeah, Legend, Black Lightning. It was just really cool to see that. I'm like, wow,
and
I'm up here now.
Oh yeah, and you're there, and Katie Lotz directed.
Oh, Katie's great. Yeah,
she's great.
She did such a good job. Oh man, I was talking to her about like her episodes that she directed, and from every account, like they're like, we were blown away by Katie. She came in so prepared. So when I end up directing, I definitely I would love to shadow her if she does another episode. I'm sure she will if she wants to.
That's pretty cool that she's directing, and she has an eye for it because she's been on that show since like day one from Arrow and then into the Legends of Tomorrow. But one thing, isn't it really wonderful that a lot of these actors that are on these Arrowverse shows or, all these TV series, these superhero shows that are become mega icons were once their first gig. And when you see them in the beginning, and not a lot of people say that, but I do say that because a lot of these actors, you never see them anywhere. Of course, Brandon, he played Superman and he had a pretty good career. But a lot of these actors, you never see them in anything. It's like first timers as a superhero. And then all of a sudden, in 2 or 3 years, they're blown up into mega icons, and you see their following grow, and you see them at Comic-Cons with like 1,000 people in line. Isn't it ridiculously amazing that a superhero TV show can take people that of course have talent but have never really started anything major and make them into icons within a few years? Isn't that amazing?
Yeah, I mean, it's fascinating to see, the course of what something like that can do for you. But thankfully, everyone's so cool. Like sometimes you're like, oh, I wish that happened for someone else. But no, everyone who's earned their spot,
they deserve it.
Like
basically, what you're saying.
It. Yeah, they deserve it. I'm so happy for everyone.
So you're next, man. Kismet, baby. Kismet is gonna get you, Osric. You're gonna get it.
Do
you feel that you have to overact around them sometimes? So you're like, hey, I want my own show too.
No, I think the biggest thing is like you just want to fit in. Like you don't want to do anything that makes it stick out too much, especially as the paragon of humanity. Like I have to be the most normal person. So I just try to do my part and make sure it serves the story. Yeah, that's it.
So outside of you writing a movie about your family that you love a lot, what else is going on with you?
I'm very interested in the production side of things. I produced my first feature film last year, so my writing the script is hopefully to do the next one, but I have a bunch of other projects in the pipeline. So depending on how fast they get developed, the one that I'm writing right now might not be next. It might be third or fourth. Who knows? So I have different production teams that I work with. One in Vancouver, one in the Philippines, one in Montreal, one in LA. And so depending on which project happen first, that's the one I want to jump in on. I mean, as much as I can spare it. Acting takes priority for me, but at some point, I'm going to hire myself as an actor. So that's just going to be the thing.
That's pretty cool. Hire yourself. You know what's so cool, man? Like, I hear you and I hear a lot of people, and they start out as an actor. They've never written anything before. They're not a writer, anything. And all of a sudden, a few years into acting, they're doing good. And all of a sudden, they're producing and they're writing scripts and they're making movies and TV shows. It's such a school and such an education, this whole thing. And if you can go along with it and take in everything, you can become that writer, that scriptwriter, that producer, that filmmaker, that next whoever that creates something amazing. Isn't it wonderful? Isn't it cool that when you think of it that way?
I mean, it's every position. I mean, it's a collaborative effort, right? So if you understand someone else's role, it helps you do your role better. And I think at some point you just kind of get curious, or at least a lot of people do, and you just want to try something else. And sure enough, you usually surprise yourself with like, oh yeah, I kind of knew how to do this. I just never did it. And so if you take the time to put the work in, at some point, you know, you either realize you know how to do it or you can figure it out. And you just get to explore this whole other area that's kind of related to what you've been doing for years and years and years. And you just get to do it. So, you know, that's my biggest hobby right now is writing. So every free moment I get, I just pull my computer out and start clacking away.
Osric, acting, producing, writing, hopefully the next Adam, or maybe whoever character on a superhero series, because we need the diversity. I think you would be amazing. And I hope that The Crisis takes you into this world where fans want to see more of you, and maybe you might get a starring role as your own superhero character in a TV series. But until then, is there anything you want to tell the fans before we start leaving?
I hope they enjoy the last 2 episodes of Crisis. I'm super excited about it. I know everyone else is excited. I hope everyone's happy with how it turned out. And yeah, we'll see where the universe goes from there.
Well, we'll see where the universe goes. DC Multiverse. We can't wait to see it. Ladies and gems, check it out. The show is in a couple of days. Watch Osric. Follow Osric. Osric, where can he follow you at?
Yeah, you can follow me at Osric Chau. If you can spell my name, I'll let you figure that out. Then you'll find me.
Well, I'll spell it for you. It's Osricchau. You can follow him on Instagram, Twitter. Check him out on his Umbrella Academy parody, on Crisis coming up in the next couple of days. I can't wait for that. I can't wait to see you on it, bro. Support his movies, TV shows, and whatever this guy wants to do. Can we get you back on the show in the near future to talk about more things?
I would love to. Thank you so much for having me.
Hey, man, that's lovely. Well, with that said, we're going to sign out. Are you ready, brother?
Yeah, I'm ready.
All right. Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening. This is Galaxy on another amazing episode of Comic-Con Radio with Osric Chau.
Hey.
There you go. You said
Thanks for having me. There it is. I was not ready.
That sounds perfect right there. And you know what? Check him out on Crisis. He's the Atom. He's the savior. And he's going to change the universe for everyone in the DC multiverse. And with that said, Osric, we have to blow a billion kisses to the universe. Ready? 3,
yeah.
2, 1. Mwah, a billion kisses.
Wow, there it is. Wow, billion.
Hey, we got to do it. So, a billion kisses for everyone out there. And with that said, peace.
Peace.
Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening. This is Galaxy signing out from another amazing episode of Comic-Con Radio. Tune in for your daily shows of Comic-Con Radio. Go to comiccon-radio.com. Reach us on social media, Instagram at Comic-Con Radio. Comic-Con Radio, taking the world one listener at a time.
Yeah, you can follow me at Osric Chau. If you can spell my name, I'll let you figure that out. Then you'll find me.